You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, GH fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I've got a comings and goings update for you. For the ABC soap, we've got a beloved young actress back on the scene and a recast actor sticking around. We've got several guest stars exiting, and we're getting ready for a huge return. Let's talk about all this. And if you haven't already, if you'd click subscribe, that would be wonderful. It really helps the channel. All right. So I first want to talk about the recast actor sticking around. We have got Adam Huss back as Nikolas Cassadine, and as of last week, it seemed like he was ready to just zip out of town. He told Ava Jerome that since she pressed charges on Esme Prince for the breaking and entering at Windermere, and she's going to go to jail for that, he's like, okay, my work here is done. He did want to punish her, but since Ava's taking care of it, he's like, all right, I'm going to take off. And before he left, though, Nikolas kind of got really flirty with Ava. It looked for a second like they were going to kiss. And of course, I do love them together. But then the moment was kind of lost. And then he left the art gallery. And Nikolas headed over to shock his son, Spencer Cassadine, at Laura Spencer's place. We saw just a moment of that on Friday. And we're going to see a lot more on Monday, January 15th. After their encounter, Spencer decides he needs to protect his little brother, Ace Cassadine. And it may be for a twofold reason. One, because Esme's memories have come back, and two, because Nikolas is back and maybe he worries his dad is going to go, oh, Esme's going to jail, I'm going to take Ace and go. And Spencer does not want his brother to be subjected to Nikolas's crappy parenting skills. So on Monday, the GH spoilers say Ava is really angry, and I wonder if that's because Laura manages to get Esme's charges minimized or dropped altogether. I mean, she didn't really do any damage. She did a little breaking in, but she didn't steal anything. And as far as anybody knows, she's just an innocent little amnesiac. And of course, the DA, Robert Scorpio, is an old pal of Laura's. And Ava's not exactly, a top citizen in Port Charles. So I don't think people care too much about what she wants. So I suspect Esme is not going up the river for the B&E, and that means Nikolas maybe sticking around to stir the pot and do some more plotting with Ava and keep targeting Esme. And of course, right now, only Spencer knows that Esme's memories are back. All right, on to a returning actress who was away on a leave of absence. Eden McCoy took time off following her mom's death from cancer in November of last year. She has been replaced temporarily with Courtney Fulk, but now it looks like Eden is on her way back to being Josslyn Jacks. So Eden had shared that her mom passed away. She said her mother fought an intense battle with breast cancer for 2.5 years. And she said her mom is the best thing she's ever known. She said her mother was responsible for every good part of her. And she also said losing her mother was also her greatest fear. And her mom passed away in November of 2023. And of course, fans understood that Eden needed time away from work to grieve. She needed that time off. But they were also at the same time saying they wished that the real Josslyn had been there for her grandmother, Bobby Spencer's funeral. So I will say, to be fair, Courtney Fulk has done a solid job in this temporary recast. It was a decent recast, but everybody wants Eden back. And so last week, Eden McCoy posted a photo on her Instagram from behind the scenes showing lights and wires and other filming equipment. And that came along with a little emoji smiley face with a hand like giggling over her mouth. So definitely looks like Eden is back on the set, and that means it should be 3 to 4 weeks until we have her back on screen at General Hospital. So she should be back on for February sweeps. We also said goodbye to the returning guests that showed up for Bobby Spencer's funeral. By the way, Monica Quartermaine actress Leslie Charleson seems to be out. She was not at Bobby's funeral. It was a glaring absence. Everybody was wondering, I don't know if you heard one of my other videos, but I shared my theory was that they had brought Leslie back for Bobby's funeral, but they wanted to have her come a little early so it wasn't so obvious that, oh, Monica's back, they're doing Bobby's death story. So instead they had her do those scenes with Fenn's lawsuit, and Leslie did not look like she was feeling well. She looks like she is in ill health. And then the next time we saw her, she wasn't behind the desk. She was in a wheelchair. And I do know she's had like she had broken like her knee a couple of years ago when she was out walking her dog. And that was what actually sent her off the show for a while. And she's just had struggles. And so I just feel like they brought her back for Bobby's funeral, but then maybe her health prevented her from staying long enough to do it. So it's very strange. Looks like Leslie Charleson is definitely out for now. Brighton Hertford had 2 episodes and she's gone. If you missed it, that is the actress who played BJ Jones as a child. And she was the one playing Angela, the reporter that was talking to everybody after the funeral. So she was appearing, though, really as grown BJ, who is basically an angel, back to talk to people, to help give closure to Bobby's loved ones, and to collect some memories of what's been happening in her mom's life after she died and before her mom passed away. So I thought that was all very sweet and very well done. And we also said hello and goodbye to Ryan Carnes as Lucas Jones and Marc Samuel as Felix Dubois. And if you are worried or excited by the notion that Jeff Kober might leave if Dex kills Cyrus, don't get too worked up either way. I don't think he's going to be pushing up daisies anytime soon. I'm not expecting Jeff Kober or Cyrus to go anywhere. And the last thing I want to talk about is Steve Burton, just for a minute. So, of course, you should know by now, unless you've been under a very large rock, Jason Morgan is coming back and should be in just a few weeks. I fully expect a huge February sweeps return for Jason. Already, there's one spoiler that I saw, and I wondered if it's about him. It came in the 2024 GH preview spoilers that we're supposed to cover the first couple of months of the year. So these official spoilers were shared by the GH head writers, and it said, a little while into the new year, Elizabeth is stunned when a presence from her past ends up on her doorstep looking for her help. So the timing of the spoiler is right for it to be Jason, and he is definitely a significant presence from her past. And, you know, maybe he needs some sort of medical help. I mean, we'll see, but Jason knows he can always go to Liz's door and she would help. She would never turn him away. So we'll see. Maybe it's about him. I feel like it is. I mean, it could be about Nikolas, but my spidey senses are saying it's about Jason. So we'll find out in just a few weeks. All right, that is our comings and goings update for General Hospital. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here talking GH 7 days a week. Please click subscribe if you haven't, and definitely drop your comments. And this, as always, Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.